Hi, my name's Graham Mann. Welcome to my podcast. This week we have Nicky Mann, my wife, and Head of Water Billing Validation and Bureau Services, who's going to discuss the challenges and the issues surrounding water retail today. And I hope you enjoy the podcast. So, Nicky. Nicky Mann, my wife, and partner in business, partner in crime.
Partner in crime, yes.
The finance director and water retail expert for H2o Building Services. It'd be good to let the viewers know what sort of things we're coming across, what challenges we're coming across from a bill validation and bureau service point of view. So, bill validation and bureau service is where we get all the bills directed to our office.
Correct.
There, the details are taken off the billing and it's input into a water database, which you and the team put together. And then it's passed for payment or not, as the case may be. The charges are checked, audited. But I just would like to give you some sort of scale of what billing errors you're actually finding, say, I don't know, over the last 6 months on one or two accounts, without mentioning the clients' names, of course, but what sort of complex challenges you're facing?
One of the biggest things that we've found since deregulation is a consolidated bill for a client. We've got a few clients with lots of sites, and myself, I look after one of the clients which has, at the moment, it's at £550,000 worth of errors from one water retailer on consolidated bills where they keep billing them and then rebilling them, but not cancelling the charges that have already been paid. And so there are no credit notes for those charges that have already been paid, and they're still expecting the client to pay it all again. And so in the end, I've had to, with permission from the client, write to the water company to ask them to take it off of consolidated and to bill each site separately, because they just cannot get it right.
This is, sorry to interrupt, but this is just in direct contravention to what Ofwat's dreams are, where that we're being sold this deregulation as a cure for multi-site companies who can, instead of getting thousands of bills, we get a consolidated bill from one company and everything's sweetness and light. But it's actually the reverse.
What's happened is a lot of bills are because they get billed monthly on a consolidated bill. The water companies are billing them, and I'm finding lots of errors. And because the company has to pay the consolidated invoice as one whole invoice, they can't pay any of it. Because the fact there are so many sites that are wrong. There are even sites that they're billing them for past dates when I've already let them know they've sold them. And so out of on this one site, this one client's bills, there's about 33 sites on it, and only 3 were correct. So in the end, they kept telling me that they can get it right on the next bill, and we'll get it right on the next bill, and this never happened.
What sort of errors are they though?
Well, basically, like I say, they've billed them already for the last 18 months. And then what they've decided to do is rebill them all again, but they're not sending credit notes out for the bills that they've already paid.
Is this a consequence of them dumping an old billing system and then putting it onto a new billing system?
This is what they're saying, that they've got a new billing system, so everything has to be redone and put onto the new billing system, but they're not taking into account the bills that have already been paid on the old billing system and pulling those through and sending credit notes out for those. So, and also at the same time, there were, I think, 5 sites on there that had been sold, and I'm not talking about a couple of days, we're talking months before, in January and in February, and they're still billing them now.
But they've been given notification.
They've been given notification, they've been given notification on the date that I was told, which was literally 2 days after they'd sold them, to who they'd sold them to, and the new contact details. They had everything, and they still carried on billing.
Because £500,000 since May is a substantial amount of money, isn't it?
It is.
So what I'm suggesting is that if a company didn't have a team such as we've got downstairs to do the bill validation, then essentially we could be talking millions, if not tens of millions of pounds worth of errors.
Easily. I mean, my colleague Heidi, she's got 600,000 on hers at the moment.
That's all a number.
And that has been going since December 2018. I know the thing is that is on 3 water retailers, mainly the same water retailer that I've got the problem with. And so there is a definite, and we have another one where they're now sending out late payment fees for bills that have been paid, and we're not talking a few days, we're talking months before. And because of their new billing system, they're not bringing those.
It's not being picked up.
They're not. No, not
so
at all.
Again, it's like a transition of data between one old billing system to a new billing system.
Yes.
We went through the suffering from the previous billing system. I think they called it Edge.
Yes.
Which has been, I believe, since according to rumours, that it's been dumped by a number of large water retailers.
I've heard that. Yes.
Great stuff. That's gone. But now we're on to new billing systems. And what seems to be happening is that we're going to go through the same pain. And I would suggest that if we weren't the safety net, I think, for
a lot of these
customers,
yes,
they would just get paid, wouldn't they?
I mean, one client has come to us to sort out their bills because they have no idea what has been billed and how it's been billed. And I must admit, after 20 years in the business and looking at the bills, I have no idea what they have billed. And we've had to go back in a very, very long, detailed email to the water company to say, what have you done? Because meter readings don't tally on from one bill to the next. Then they go back, then they move on by a few 100,000, then it goes back, and it's all for the same meter. And they have no idea what they've done. Their billing system is in a complete mess.
I'll tell you what, though, we've been getting quite a lot of water audit requests from a number of partners in the industry. And I recall, I think it was about a week or two ago, about 50 or 60, which I think it was 49% was a number.
Right.
Where there were savings and potential savings and refunds.
Yes.
And the refunds were knocking on £500,000.
480, yeah.
I mean, it's off the scale. I don't think this is why we're doing this podcast now, to let companies know that really all is not right.
It isn't, no. I think everybody thinks that if you switch water supplier, then you are going to get billed by your new supplier correctly. And what we have seen is that is not the case, because the data that the new supplier, the new retailer is billing from is not right. And we found that
that's in CMOS.
Yes, and we found that with one of our clients who they'd already had a few water consultants supposedly look at it and say that there's nothing there, there's nothing to save. And we've got them back hundreds of thousands of pounds on things that had been changed in the marketing system, and they're billed wrong.
Well, on that particular customer, I think we've gone back prior to the switch, haven't we?
We have. I'm just waiting. Supplier. I'm just waiting for the data to come through to me now.
And it looks like they've been overcharged prior to the switch. And I must admit, when I looked at the data, because I know I sort of take for granted what goes on in the bill validation team, and walk past and everything's going cracking on, and then I actually looked at the spreadsheets that you're receiving from the water retailers, and at one point I think you said to me 22 mouse clicks to compile one bill from this spreadsheet.
The bills that come out, they don't come out in a readable format. You have to filter everything so that you can get you could have a bill for a client on a consolidated bill of 3,000 lines long, but that one site is so many spaces down that bill that you have to filter it all just to get that bill together. Yeah. And so it's impossible to do it as it is.
So really, what we're saying is, we've gone over briefly what some of the issues are on billing. Multi-sited customers, or even individual site customers, we're getting those that are incorrect.
Yes.
We've seen quite a few come over in the last couple of weeks, and there's some quite substantial corrections to be made. So what would you advise? What would be the sweet spot for if a customer had concerns or suspected there would be an undercharge or overcharge, or they had issues with water companies? What's the best? I think the best
thing to do is get in touch with us. Send us their water bill so we can look over everything that they have. If they want to have a bill validation process, put in place, and that is a very good thing for anything in the future, because not only if we do find that there are problems on their bills, that if we are continuing to do their bill validation, then any new bills that come in after the rectifications have been done, we can make sure that they've been done and they've been done correctly. Because I've done rectifications on bills myself for clients that we have got bill validation for, and when the bills have come in supposedly with the rectifications on, they've on the pages it looks like yes, it's reduced the band charge and it's reduced this, but actually when you look at how much they're charging, they're still charging the old band charge but put it under the new band charge, so it looks like yes, it's reduced, but it hasn't.
It's getting that message across to customers, isn't it? Because they're not au fait with the water industry. You guys do it all the time, and some of the things that you're spotting actually surprise me. You know, when you change a charge, you change a tariff, and you get the money back and the charge is correct going forward, fine, everything's hunky-dory, and out the blue you find on the next bill that they're not charging it correctly. You've got to go back again.
That's correct.
Now, if that was a customer's perspective, where if they didn't do the ongoing bill validation and bureau service, then they would assume it's correct because H2o have corrected their bills. But if they don't go have that continuity of service, then they're liable to fall into that trap again.
That's
and it's I must say it's pretty big numbers, isn't it? So. It
is big numbers. I mean, we've had one in today which is a very large problem for a client, which we're going to try and solve for him.
Complex,
but it is very. I think what I have found is that over the last year we have picked up a lot more complex cases rather than the easy it's a band reduction charge, or we're getting a lot of trade effluent cases which are billed incorrectly. We're getting a lot of very complex cases that are hard, and we found that people have been to other water consultants and they can't sort them out, but we have. And so I think that it's not just because you've been to one consultant doesn't mean to say, as one of our clients found out after he'd been to two, and they said that there was nothing on them, we found him hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of. Exactly. So it's just because you've been to one water consultant doesn't mean to say that there are no savings.
Yeah. Well, we're constantly reviewing other consultants.
We are. We are at the moment, it seems,
Well, thanks very much. We eventually got you on the podcast. Hey, done extremely well. I think we got the message across. So, the customers or the viewers, www.h2obuildingservices.co.uk and speak to Nicky Mann.
Thank you very much. Thank you.